Öskar is a very impressive frequency. He restores our connection to our voice, our courage, and our power through the throat. Welcome to Howling at the Moon, where the mystical meets the practical, and the canine spirit guides lead the way. I'm your host, Heather Lee Strom. In 2022, I experienced a sudden, life-changing spiritual awakening. After a lifetime of struggling with, who am I and why am I here? For 5 decades, the world felt cold and confusing. Now I see the patterns, the purpose, and the bigger magical picture. My mission? To help you find your way through your own awakening journey. Here, you'll discover limitless possibilities for spiritual growth, powerful healing frequencies, and extraordinary energetic professionals, each designed to guide you into deeper healing and remembrance. Some episodes feature enlightening wisdom from spiritually evolved guest healers, visionaries, and authors. Others are led by the multidimensional canine spirit guides themselves, sharing their unique intergalactic wisdom and frequency. If you've been craving deeper truth, multidimensional healing, and a little cosmic magic, you've just found your pack. Listen and watch on Spotify or YouTube, and bring the magic back into your life. Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome to another episode of Howling at the Moon with the Canine Guides. I am Heather Lee Strom, your Galactic Canine Channel and host. And today I'm going to be introducing you to another canine spirit guide so you can become more familiar with who these guides are and what they have to offer you and humanity. Today we're going to meet Öskar. Öskar is a very impressive frequency. Öskar has chosen the black and tan coonhound and the lion to represent his energetic frequency. And we talked last time in the last episode when we discussed Anthea, why they appear as a conjoined version of a dog breed and a shamanic wild animal. So if you're curious about that, go back to that episode. I think it was 22. So go check that out. But let's learn about Öskar today. He's very impressive. What he does is he restores our connection to our voice, our courage, and our power through the throat. So he focuses a lot on the throat chakra, whereas we saw that Anthea focuses more on the heart chakra. And something that you might not be aware of is that your voice is very important because it actually carries and projects your energetic frequency. So when there's a disconnection here, it really distracts from your ability to share yourself on this earth plane. Now, I've discussed in previous shows how I've become acquainted with these canine spirit guides. So I'll put that show's link in the description below so you can review it in case you haven't watched it yet, because that will help you a lot as you watch this episode. But basically, what you need to know about these canine spirit guides as I'm describing them is that they are a very benevolent, highly evolved healing frequency that's attempting to connect with humanity through our dogs. However, it's not necessary that you have a dog to work with them or to access their frequency. Most of my clients that I work with, I'd say probably now only 70% of my clients actually own a dog or are curious about some dog frequency that is currently or has been in their life in this incarnation. So having a dog or even being associated with the dog is not the least bit necessary in working with these powerful healing frequencies. But let's get back to Öskar. His frequency is a lot different than Anthea's that we discussed in the last episode. He reminds me a lot. You remember reading the book, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis, the Chronicles of Narnia series? He really reminds me of Aslan. His his confidence, his demeanor, his quietness, and his frequency when it comes in all reminds me of Aslan. So if you've know who I'm talking about and you've read these books, it'll be easier for you to connect into this frequency. If you can place that in your energetic field, it will match it a lot easier. So let's talk about the animals that he's chosen. The black and tan coonhound is a relatively new dog breed on the planet, and it's an American breed. This coonhound is known for its loyalty. It's also very loving and peaceful, not jumping into confrontations, not looking to fight with other dogs or beings, very calm and centered within itself. Yet it's not a pushover. So the black and tan coonhound will stand its ground appropriately if pushed or if cornered. So it's not a pushover. The coonhound by nature is designed to work within a pack. And so the the power of the pack tends to combine into this huge, powerful essence when you have all of these dogs working together. Yet the coonhound is also just as confident working on his own, standing his own ground and following his own path. So this is significant when we're working with Oscar. And this breed, of course, skillfully uses its voice for communication and expression. So that's how it ties into the throat chakra with Oscar. So this coonhound version or aspect of Oscar as a canine spirit guide actually works to restore the connection to and the frequency of your voice and your ability to express your unique frequency through your voice. And he helps you to understand or to remember why it's necessary that you share your voice, your frequency, and yourself with the world. Now, the lion aspect, of course, is well known as a dominant, confident beast, right? This large prairie cat exudes supreme power and confidence, especially the lioness. The voice of the lion is very strong and powerful, and it can resonate for miles. So the lion represents your confidence, your divine power, and the overwhelming power of your own voice frequency. But he also gives you or provides you with the insight and the strength in overcoming deep-seated fear, anger, rage, and oppression. And these all stifle your voice, your power, and your courage. And the lion also reminds you that you have all the protection you require within your own divine essence. You are so powerful. And Oscar works diligently to remind all of us of this. Now, he also works with my clients to identify hidden fragments of fear, anger, rage, lower self esteem, which all will block your own energetic light. And these powerful distortions disconnect you deeply from your own light and from your highest expression. He'll show these to you, and then he'll assist you in releasing them and healing them and repairing them, shifting you easily into the truest version of yourself. We are all meant to share our divine frequency with the world. We all have a part here, and that's part of why we're here. But when that voice, when that frequency is blocked at the throat, we can't utilize this portal to do that. And it becomes a big loss to everyone, not just you, but to all of those that you're meant to share yourself with. Now, you might ask, well, how does that happen? Some of you might know that you have blockages in the throat that you just can't, you don't feel comfortable expressing yourself, you don't feel safe expressing yourself, or you just can't find the words to do so. And if you've read my book, Canine Spirit Guides, you know that this was a struggle for me as well, and that Oscar really had to do a lot of work to repair and restore my ability to do so, allowing me to stand in front of you in this moment and share. Otherwise, I would never have been able to do this. But traumatic events can cause us to shut down this portal, this communication vessel within our physical body, within our energetic body. And these are not always obvious traumatic events. They can be conscious, they could be unconscious, they can be from this life, they can be from other lives. They can also be an inherited trauma through an ancestral pattern, something that happened through the family line. So, on many occasions, my clients have no knowledge that they have trauma in this area, in this portal, in the throat chakra, that's preventing them from being able to express themselves. Now, some signs that this might be an issue for you could be feelings that your opinions or your voice don't matter, no one's listening to you, that you just don't feel safe in speaking your truth or what's important to you, or maybe speaking up for yourself. Maybe you feel powerless and insignificant in the world, or that other people are out to get you. And these can also lead into a very deeply ingrained sense of insecurity. And all of these were in my book. I'm not immune to feeling this way. I know this information because I lived it. If you want to see what it looks like from my viewpoint, from my experience, there are a lot of examples in my book here, Canine Spirit Guides. Oscar is the second section in the book following Anthea. So if this resonates with you, read that section again and get some clear examples of what it might look like or feel like. Now, Oscar's job title, I told you in the last episode with Anthea that these canine spirit guides all have job titles. They're very well organized and thought out. There's over 50 of these canine spirit guides, and I've met 12 of them so far, so I've got a lot to go. Oscar's job title is the guardian of the divine masculine. So his job is really more than just the throat portal, but tying all that into the healed, fully functional divine masculine frequency. So he and Anthea work together frequently in order to restore my clients, just as they did myself, restore those purely powerful divine union frequencies within each one of us. We all have both frequencies, the divine feminine and the divine masculine. The feminine can't be functional without the masculine. The masculine is not functional without the feminine. So if you have a distortion in either one, you have a distortion in both. I've never met anybody who did not have a distortion in the divine union frequencies. So their job is very, very important. And in fact, it's so important. I did teach a program on this very activation, the congruent divine union activation. So if you're interested in that, I'll put the link below. So some of these signs and symptoms of being disconnected and having a distortion within your voice frequency can be really obscure and difficult to understand. I knew that I felt insecure about speaking and that I felt like I didn't matter in the world, or that my voice didn't matter, my opinions didn't matter, my stories didn't matter. And so when I was told to write this book, my first thought was, who's going to read it? Because that was a distortion in my voice, my ability to express myself, right? So if you're watching this show and you're thinking, well, I don't have a problem with that. I have no problem speaking my opinion and stepping up for myself. Look deeper. Sometimes these distortions are really hard to identify. And when I work with Oscar with my clients, that's one thing he does is he brings it out in the light to you and he shows it to you before he assists you in healing this and repairing it and restoring it fully. So just because you think you don't have an issue in this area, that may not be true. So I want you to be open minded. And I am going to offer you some healing frequency with Oscar in case you'd like to try his frequency. He's a little bit different than Anthea. He has a heavier energy. It's not oppressive at all. It kind of feels like a weighted blanket when he comes in. And he's much more quiet than Anthea is. He doesn't To me, he doesn't give me as much information about what's going on. He just takes care of business. So that sort of matches with the lion personality. There's not a lot of discussion. There's just action when it's necessary, right? That's kind of how the lion is. They just take care of business. Otherwise, they're pretty relaxed because they don't have a lot of predators themselves. So they just can afford to relax and hang out. So Oscar carries that type of demeanor, that type of frequency. So you might notice it as he comes into the room. All right. Who would like to try Oscar's frequency? Now, I have already shielded this space that you're going to be experiencing this frequency in, no matter when you watch this show. The frequency of Oscar and the energetic shielding I've put in place will be maintained throughout the lifetime of this recording. So everything in this space is completely shielded and safe. And so you can relax and completely receive while you're listening to this transmission. And it's going to be a lot like a guided meditation. So if you do not have the ability to see things with your third eye, or if you don't feel like you have any psychic ability at all, or maybe if you don't even know how to meditate, don't worry. Just use your imagination to follow along. Your imagination is your bridge to your psychic abilities. So flex that muscle by utilizing your very powerful imagination. And also, I do request that you remove the ego from your psyche. So I have my clients tell their ego to go and sit in a chair on the other side of the room or maybe in a different room so that when information does come in, you're not questioning it. You're not second guessing yourself. You're able to just fully receive and participate in this frequency without judging it. Okay? If you're ready to receive, I want you to psychically say, yes, please, Oscar. I would like to receive your frequency today. So give him an invitation and permission to work with you. Please also be in sitting, whether you're in a chair or on the floor. Don't be lying down or driving a car when you're receiving this frequency, okay? All right, so I'll start out just getting you a little bit relaxed, and then I'll bring Oscar into the room and we'll see what he has in mind for us. I have no idea yet. Thank you for joining me today. The healing session for this episode with the Canine Spirit Guides is now available exclusively through my subscriber portal on Substack. These energetic downloads are sacred transmissions, and by moving them to a dedicated space, I can connect more intentionally with those of you who feel called to receive them. It also helps me get to know you a little better so that I can more effectively serve and support this growing community. If you'd like to access the healing frequencies of this episode's Canine Spirit Guide and future transmissions, just head over to my Substack at heatherleestrom.substack.com and become a subscriber. Whether you join us there or simply tune in here, the Canine Spirit Guides and I are so grateful to share this path with you. And be sure to stay put because there might be more coming on this podcast. And I just have a little bit more to share with you. I like to remind people that when you receive a healing or a frequency upgrade, such as this, you want to be sure and hold that change. In my last episode, 2022, episode 22 with Anthea, I shared how you need to fill out a forwarding address for the new frequency so you can hold that frequency and not dip back down into your old frequency. And remember that everyone who knows you is going to be looking for you at your old residence. Okay. So it's going to be a conscious effort for you at first until you get used to holding higher frequency. It'll be a conscious effort for you not to come back down here and interact with people where they're looking for you, because you're going to continue on your growth process and your journey. You're going to continue to ascend, right? That's what ascension is, energetic ascension. So be sure to hold this new frequency. You can listen to this transmission again and again and again, and it will help remind you energetically how to hold it. New things might come up, and you might experience even more clearing each time you listen to it. Okay? Now, if this type of work resonated with you, and you could feel the frequency, you could feel Öskar, you were aware of his presence, maybe saw him, or maybe he had a message for you while he was here. If this resonated with you, you might want to check out the services that I offer in my one-to-one sessions, where I actually do a soul reading and I consult with the canine spirit guides to determine who needs to work with you at this moment on your journey, and then share that information with you as we're working with that specific canine spirit guide on that issue with you. And you receive healing instantly in the call, in that session, for that, whatever needs to be moved or removed or reattached or healed or updated. Okay. So this is the type of work I do one-on-one. Plus I have group events and also programs that you can do on your own on my webpage. And remember, all of these guides are very, very different. They each have a different frequency. They each have a different job title. So they all focus on different things in different areas, and they work very differently from each other. And the frequency of each guide is different too. So some of them, as you've noticed between Anthea and Öskar, some of them have a heavier, more comforting type of frequency, and some of them are super, super high frequency. The next guide I will introduce is Oregon, and her frequency is really high up there. She's very different from Anthea and Öskar. So there's a lot that they have to offer humanity, and I have never had a situation where they didn't have something to offer anyone. Even the advanced people I'm working with that are very clear with their psychic ability, they're very clear on their path that they're on in this lifetime. Even for those people, they bring in even more powerful guides for them. And so that's how I'm getting all these new guides, is as new people come in and they need these new canine spirit guides, the tools that they have to offer, that's how I'm meeting the new canine spirit guides. So check out some of my other YouTube shorts and shares for messages from the canine spirit guides, as well as my other episodes to get some really good examples of how they work. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for watching Howling at the Moon with the Canine Guides. The next canine guide I will share is going to be Oregon, and she is the one on the book cover. So she's really, really powerful and exciting to work with. So I hope you'll tune in for that episode. Thank you so much. I hope you have a lovely day. Love ya.
Canine Spirit Guides, The Healing Power of Man's Best Friend by Heather Lee Strom. We've always suspected dogs are magical angels from God. In this groundbreaking book, you'll discover the specific divine gifts our canine companions really possess as they facilitate our healing, elevate our awareness, and expand our consciousness. Man's best friend has their own spirit guides, which is why they appear in our lives just when we need them most. This award-winning book, Canine Spirit Guides, The Healing Power of Man's Best Friend by Heather Lee Strom, is available on Amazon.com and heatherleestrom.com. Get your copy today and begin your journey.